Blender, Git, Linux, and the whole Python projects. What do all of these have in common? All of them are open source projects that got highly adopted by an open source community. A community, an active community, that does not only use the tools, but also help maintain them and keep them intact. Without these communities, these projects would have never grown as big as they are right now. So today we'll be quickly talking about why open source is important and why you should start doing open source. Hi, I'm Tim, and for the last 2 years, I've been highly involved in several open source projects, either personal or on a contribution base. I grew tools that reached over 6K stars on GitHub in total, and so I'm a little bit familiar with open source already. This question about why working for free is a good thing came up several times already when people talk to me. And let me tell you why you should invest your free time into doing open source projects and why you should invest your free time into growing your own personal profile on, for example, GitHub. First and foremost, it's super fun. And you'll learn a lot of stuff while you do that. For example, you will get used to other code bases. You will have to dig into other architectures you're not familiar with. You will have to learn how to adapt to other code styles, because otherwise, for example, your pull requests won't get merged into the official project. And of course, you will meet a lot of new people there. So for example, if you have any question on how you should implement something, you will have to get in contact with the people there, with the developer there, and you might even meet them up for example, a coffee or some lunch sometime if you get in contact with them a little bit more. And getting involved really, it's not that hard. It's actually pretty easy. There are mainly 2 ways you can do that. There's your personal profile, where you do your personal projects, or you contribute to other projects. If you should go for the first one, which is developing your own personal projects, then I have one really important point for you, which is really create projects that you want to build, not projects you think other would like, other want to have, because you will face difficult problems. You will face bugs and maybe some stuff you don't know how to implement. And if you don't really care for that project, you will just quit. And I'm serious, you don't want to quit. You just want to keep going and just build projects you really care for. The other thing is contributing to other projects. If you should go for that, then start small. It's not a problem to start with smaller projects, because if you start with the big project itself, then there are a lot of hurdles you have to come across. For example, you have to sign license contributors agreements and all this stuff you don't want to handle in the beginning, because you just want to get your stuff, your code into big code bases. And it's the feeling you get when you first contribute is super awesome, and you just want to keep going from there and incrementally push new features or fixes to bigger code bases. And if you should go for the contribution base, then there's this thing. There's mainly 4 ways you can contribute, which is, as I said, features or fixes, which is just code. You can contribute design as well, which is UI designs, or for example, do a user test with people with a specific tool. You can contribute in terms of community, where you simply create a local user group like this one about Python, or create a Slack channel. There are several ways you can do that. For me, the documentation is the most important, because there are a ton of projects out there that are really good, but they just don't have any documentation, and nobody will use that tool if there's no documentation. Who wants to dig into code and really see what methods there are and what the methods do? And if you can contribute documentation to any kind of project, you will be the personal hero of that project. There's one last step after you contribute to projects, which is spreading the word about it. Write an article, write a blog post about your learnings and the technologies you used, and why you chose those technologies and what you found great about them. So people can read about it and they don't have to tackle these technologies for themselves, for example. One last thing. The stuff you get, besides from learning a lot and of course, having fun, which is growing your personal presence, your personal brand is super important, and it will give you so many really good things like better chances for interviews, better job offers. And like I said, you will meet a lot of new people. And I even made some friends here in the Bay Area through my open source contributions. So if you're a little bit, let's call it motivated right now to do it, so make it your New Year's resolution to contribute to one open source project. I have some links here. The slides are on Twitter. Check them out. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you get started if you want to, of course. I'll be super surprised if there would be a lot of people just going in and starting doing open source work. It's really a fundamental part of this whole community. It's great. Thank you very much.